The scout vessel Silent Watcher moved slowly through the darkness of space. It was a beautiful ship, covered in glowing blue panels that pulsed like a heartbeat. The ship had been traveling through this region for many weeks, searching for signs of primitive species that the collective had marked in their ancient records. Commander stood at the center of the bridge, his tall body perfectly still as he watched the holographic displays around him. He had 4 arms and 4 eyes, and his skin was covered in small scales that changed color with his mood. Right now, they were a calm blue. He had served the collective for over 200 years, and he had seen many things in that time. Young species, weak species, species that thought they were special until the collective showed them their true place in the galaxy. "Commander," said Sensor Officer from his station, "I am detecting an unknown vessel. It does not match any ship in our database." Turned slowly, his 4 eyes focusing on the main display. The ship that appeared was unlike anything he had expected to find in this empty region of space. It was angular and harsh, built from dark metal plates that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. There were no elegant curves, no flowing lines. It looked like it had been built for one purpose only: war. "What species?" asked. Worked his console with his long fingers. "The markings translate as USS Defiance. It appears to be a human vessel, Commander." A sound escaped from that might have been laughter. Humans, the primitive creatures from that small planet near the yellow star, they barely discovered space travel 2 centuries ago. How did they get this far from their home? "Unknown, Commander, but they are here." Navigation officer looked up from her station. Her species had been conquered by the collective 5,000 years ago, and her people had served loyally ever since. "Should I plot an intercept course?" "Yes," said, settling into his command chair. "Lock our sensors on that ship. I want to know everything about it. Let us see what these young creatures have managed to build with their limited minds." The Silent Watcher changed course, its engines glowing brighter as it moved toward the human vessel. The scanning beams reached out across the void, invisible fingers probing the unknown ship. Aboard the USS Defiance, Captain Cole was sitting in his command chair, reading through the daily reports on his personal tablet. The ship was quiet. They had been on patrol for 3 months, and the crew had settled into a comfortable routine. The Defiance was a Marathon-class heavy cruiser, one of the most powerful warships in the United Earth Navy. It carried a crew of 450 souls, and every single one of them was trained for combat. Cole was a tall man with hair cut short and eyes that had seen too many battles. He had served in the Navy for 30 years, starting as a simple engineer and working his way up to command. He knew his ship better than he knew his own body. "Captain," called Lieutenant Amy from the sensor station. She was young, barely 30, but she was one of the best sensor operators in the fleet. "We are being scanned. Unknown vessel approaching from bearing 27 Mark IV." Cole put down his tablet and stood up. "Show me." The main flickered and displayed the alien ship. It was twice the size of the Defiance, covered in those strange glowing panels. Cole had never seen anything like it, but he had read the reports. He knew what was out there in the galaxy. He knew about the empires that thought they owned the stars. "Beautiful ship," he said quietly. "Ugly intentions, probably." Communications officer Danny Price turned in his chair. He was a heavy-set man with a thick beard and quick fingers. "Sir, they are not responding to standard hails. I have tried every frequency and every protocol we have." "Keep trying. They might be listening even if they are not talking." Cole pressed a button on his chair. "Chief Engineer, report to the bridge." Pete arrived within minutes. He was a short man with messy brown hair and oil stains on his uniform that never seemed to wash out completely, but his mind was sharp as a blade. "You called, Captain." "Take a look at our visitor," Cole said, pointing at the screen. "What do you make of her?" Studied the alien ship for a long moment. Then he moved to an empty console and began pulling up data. His fingers danced across the controls as he analyzed the scanner readings. Interesting, he murmured. Very interesting. Their technology is advanced, Captain. Much more advanced than ours in some ways, but in other ways. He paused and smiled. In other ways, they are behind us by a long distance. Explain. Their weapons, sir. Their shields. They are powerful, but they are based on principles we abandoned 50 years ago. They have been using the same technology for thousands of years without improving it. They got comfortable. They stopped innovating. Cole nodded slowly. This was what the admirals back on Earth had predicted. The older species had grown lazy. They had conquered so many weaker races that they had forgotten what it meant to face a real challenge. What about their scans? Asked. They have been probing us for several minutes now. Grinned, and there was something dangerous in that expression. Let them look. Our adaptive plating is feeding them exactly what we want them to see. Right now, they think we are powered by primitive fusion reactors and armed with simple kinetic weapons. They think we are no threat at all. Cole returned to his command chair. Good, let them underestimate us, Commander Grant. A woman's voice came through the intercom. Lisa Grant was the commander of the Marine detachment aboard the Defiance. She had served with Cole for 15 years, and there was no one he trusted more in a fight. Yes, Captain. Get your people ready. I have a feeling we might need them soon. Already done, sir. We are standing by. Cole looked at the alien ship on the screen. It was still approaching, still scanning. He could almost feel the arrogance radiating from it. Whoever was in command over there thought they were dealing with primitives. They thought this would be easy. They were wrong. All stations, Cole said calmly, prepare for possible combat. Do not power up weapons yet. Do not raise shields. Let them make the first move. The bridge crew responded with quiet efficiency. They had trained for this moment. Every single one of them knew what was at stake. Humanity had spent 200 years preparing for this day, the day they would finally meet the powers that ruled the galaxy. The alien ship stopped scanning and began to move, positioning itself between the Defiance and the nearest safe route out of the system. Looked at her console. Sir, they are blocking our escape path. They think they are blocking it, Cole corrected. They do not know what we can do. A moment later, a message appeared on the communications display. Price read it aloud, his voice steady despite the tension on the bridge. Human vessel, you have entered space. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your destruction. Cole stood up slowly. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. Open a channel, he said. Let us talk. Captain Cole stood before the main, his hands clasped behind his back. The alien ship filled the display, beautiful and threatening at the same time. Around him, the bridge crew worked in tense silence, waiting for his next order. Channel open, sir, Danny Price reported. Cole spoke clearly and calmly. This is Captain Cole of the United Earth Naval Ship Defiance. We are conducting a peaceful patrol mission in neutral space. We have no hostile intentions, and we request open dialogue with your commander. There was a long pause. Then a new image appeared on the screen. The alien commander was unlike anything Cole had seen before. Tall and with 4 arms and 4 eyes, covered in scales that shifted from blue to orange as Cole watched. The creature studied him with obvious curiosity and something else. Something that looked very much like amusement. I am commander of the collective, the alien said. The universal translator made his voice sound flat and mechanical, but the arrogance came through clearly. You say you are in neutral space, human. You are wrong. All space belongs to the collective. Your patrol is over. Surrender your vessel and your crew will be treated fairly. Cole raised an eyebrow. And if we refuse? Made that clicking sound again. Then you will die. Your primitive ship cannot stand against us. We have ruled these stars for 10,000 years. We have crushed species far more advanced than yours. Do not test our patience. I appreciate the warning, Cole said, but I think you should scan our ship again. A closer look, perhaps. On the silent watcher turned to with irritation. Why does he want us to scan again? What is he hiding? Worked his console, pushing the sensors to their maximum power. I am performing a deep scan now, Commander. Their hull is strange. Our beams are having difficulty penetrating beyond the outer layers. Impossible. Our sensors can read the core of a star. How can they be blocked by primitive metal? I do not know, Commander, but there is something beneath that hull, something our sensors cannot identify. Felt the first small seed of doubt enter his mind. He pushed it away. These were humans, children of the galaxy. They had barely learned to walk among the stars. Whatever tricks they were using, it would not save them. Enough games, he said. Target their engines, fire a warning shot, show them what they face. The weapons officer activated the pulse cannon. It was a magnificent weapon, capable of melting through solid rock in seconds. The beam lanced across the darkness toward the human ship. And then something impossible happened. The beam hit an invisible wall approximately 50 meters from the Defiance's hull. For a brief moment, Cole's ship was surrounded by a shimmering blue light. Then the beam simply vanished, absorbed by whatever force had stopped it. The bridge of the Silent Watcher went completely silent. What was that? Demanded. Report. The weapon had no effect, Commander said, his voice shaking. They appear to have some form of energy shielding, but that technology, only the elder races possessed such shields, and they have been dead for 100,000 years. Stared at the human ship. His scales had turned pale white, the color of fear among his species. That cannot be. The elder races were destroyed. Their technology was lost. Perhaps, said quietly, the humans found something. On the Defiance, the mood was completely different. The crew had barely flinched when the alien weapon struck their shields. They had trained for this. They had prepared. Shields holding at 98%, Amy reported with a small smile. That was a powerful shot. It would have destroyed any ship in this sector. Cole nodded. Now they know we are not helpless. Let us see how they respond. He thought about the history that had brought them to this moment. 200 years ago, humanity had discovered something on Mars. Deep beneath the red soil, they found the ruins of an ancient outpost. The species that built it had been dead for longer than humans had existed, but their technology remained. Computers, weapons, ships, and most importantly, records. The records told a terrible story. Once the galaxy had been filled with thousands of species, all reaching for the stars. But the older empires, the ones who had achieved power first, did not welcome newcomers. They crushed them, enslaved them, exterminated them. The galaxy was ruled by predators, and young species like humanity were nothing but prey. The humans who found those records made a choice. They would not share this discovery with the world, not yet. Instead, they would study it, learn from it, build upon it. And when the time came to face the galaxy, they would be ready. The Defiance was the result of 2 centuries of secret work. Its hull was made of materials that did not exist in nature, created atom by atom in orbital factories hidden from all sensors. Its shields used principles of physics that the older species had never discovered. Its weapons were designed to destroy ships that had ruled the stars for. Cole opened a new channel to the alien ship. Commander, your weapon had no effect on my ship. I hope you understand now that we are not the primitive species you expected. I am asking you again. Let us talk. There does not need to be violence here. There was a long pause. Then his face appeared on the screen again. His scales were still pale, but his 4 eyes burned with rage. You dare to threaten us. You have stolen technology that does not belong to you. You will tell us where you found it, or we will tear your ship apart piece by piece. We stole nothing, Cole said. We built our own path, and we will defend it. Then you choose death. Cut the transmission. Cole turned to his crew. His voice was calm, but there was steel beneath the calm. They fired on us. That was their choice. Now we make ours. He pressed the intercom button. All hands battle stations. This is not a drill. Commander Grant, prepare for boarding operations. In the Marine Bay, Lisa Grant was already giving orders. Her 30 soldiers stood in perfect lines, each one wearing powered armor that could stop a plasma bolt and hit back 10 times harder. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were the best humanity had, enhanced with neural implants that made them faster, stronger, and smarter than any unmodified human. "Listen up," Grant said. "The captain is going to disable that ship. When he does, we go in. Non-lethal force where possible. These aliens attacked us, but they did not know what they were facing. If they surrender, accept it. If they fight, put them down fast. Any questions?" There were none. The Marines checked their weapons one final time and waited. On the bridge, Cole watched the alien ship powering up its weapons. He could see the energy building in its cannon arrays, preparing for a full assault. They still thought they could win. They still believed their ancient technology was superior. "Amy," Cole said, "drop the false readings. Let them see us clearly." Worked her console. The adaptive plating that had been feeding false data to the alien sensors went silent. For the first time, they saw the Defiance as it truly was. On the silent watcher made a sound that might have been a scream. "Commander, their power readings. They are impossible. That ship is carrying more firepower than our entire patrol fleet." Looked at the new data and felt his world crumble around him. He had made a terrible mistake. He had attacked something that should not exist. But it was too late to stop now. The weapons were already firing. "All batteries," he shouted, "destroy that ship." The silent watcher unleashed everything it had. Plasma beams, particle lances, guided torpedoes. The full fury of military technology streaked across space toward the human vessel. Cole watched the incoming fire with calm eyes. Point defense, take out the torpedoes, shields to full, and then, he paused and smiled grimly. Return fire. The space between the two ships came alive with fire and light. The torpedoes raced toward the Defiance, their guidance systems locked onto the human vessel. Behind them came the beams of plasma and particle energy, enough destructive force to melt a small moon. The Defiance responded with terrible efficiency. Small turrets along the hull swiveled and fired. Each shot was precise, calculated by computers that could think 1,000,000 times faster than any living mind. The torpedoes exploded one by one, bright flowers of light blooming and dying in the void. Not a single one came within 100 meters of the ship. The energy beam struck the shields and vanished. The blue shimmer appeared again, absorbing the assault without strain. "Shields at 94%, Amy reported. "They are hitting us with everything, Captain. It is not working." Cole nodded. He felt no joy in this moment. These aliens had attacked his ship, threatened his crew, and they would pay for that. But he took no pleasure in what came next. "Target their weapons arrays," he said. "Take them out." The Defiance's main guns powered up. They did not fire beams or projectiles. Instead, they created something far more dangerous: focused gravitational fields. The first shot hit the silent watcher's forward cannon. The effect was immediate and devastating. The weapon simply crumpled, crushed by invisible force as if a giant hand had squeezed it into scrap metal. The hull around it twisted and tore, atmosphere venting into space. On the bridge, chaos erupted. "Hull breach in Section 7, screamed. "We have lost the forward plasma array." "Evasive maneuvers," ordered. "Get us away from that ship." But the silent watcher was built for intimidation, not speed. It turned slowly, too slowly. The second shot from the Defiance struck the port engine array. The entire section collapsed inward, the gravitational forces pulling metal and machinery into a dense ball before the containment fields failed and everything exploded outward. The ship lurched violently, was thrown from his chair, his 4 arms scrambling for purchase. Around him, officers screamed as consoles exploded and fires broke out. The lights flickered and died, replaced by the red glow of emergency systems. "Damage report," managed to say as he pulled himself up. His voice was barely audible over the alarms. "We have lost engines. We have lost weapons. 40% of the crew in the affected sections are dead. We are helpless, Commander." Stood in the wreckage of his bridge and felt something he had not experienced in 200 years of service. Complete and utter defeat. The battle had lasted less than 30 seconds. His ship, one of the finest in the patrol fleet, had been reduced to a drifting hulk by a species they had dismissed as primitives. Aboard the Defiance, Cole watched the alien ship slowly spinning in the void. Debris floated around it, and he could see the glow of internal fires through the breaches in the hull. He felt a moment of grim satisfaction, followed immediately by something heavier. "Cease fire," he ordered. "They are done." Pete looked up from his station. "Their life support is failing, Captain. They have maybe 2 hours before the ship becomes uninhabitable." "How many survivors?" "Sensors show approximately 300 life signs, down from about 500 before the engagement." 200 dead in 30 seconds. Cole closed his eyes for a moment. This was the cost of war. This was what happened when arrogant powers refused to listen. "Open a channel," he said. Danny Price worked his console. "Channel open, sir." "Commander, this is Captain Cole. Your ship is disabled. Your weapons are destroyed. Your engines are offline. You cannot fight and you cannot run. I am offering you a choice. Surrender your vessel and we will render assistance. We will treat your wounded and repair your life support. Refuse and we will leave you here to die. The choice is yours." There was a long silence. Then's voice came through, weak and filled with pain. Why would you help us? We attacked you. We tried to destroy you." "Because we are not like you," Cole replied simply. "We do not kill when we do not have to. Surrender, Commander. Let us end this." Another pause, then, "We surrender." Cole turned to his crew. "Launch the shuttles. Medical teams first. I want a damage control team over there as soon as it is safe. Grant, prepare your Marines for boarding." The next hour was controlled chaos. Human shuttles crossed the gap between the ships, carrying doctors and engineers. The Marines went first, securing the vessel section by section. They found the aliens in various states of shock. Some tried to fight and were quickly subdued. Most simply stared at the armored humans with wide, disbelieving eyes. Lisa Grant moved through the corridors with her squad, stepping over debris and bodies. The damage was severe. Entire sections had been crushed or torn open. The artificial gravity was failing in places, and she had to use magnetic boots to keep her footing. They found the bridge after 20 minutes of searching. The door had been warped by the attack, and it took cutting tools to force it open. Inside, Grant found Commander sitting in his damaged chair, surrounded by the bodies of his crew. "Commander," she said, her voice filtered through her helmet speakers. "I am Commander Lisa Grant of the United Earth Marines. You are now a prisoner of war. If you cooperate, you will be treated fairly. Do you understand?" Looked at her with his 4 eyes. The scales on his skin were pale white and his posture spoke of complete exhaustion. "I understand, but I do not understand your species. You had every right to destroy us. Why spare us?" Grant removed her helmet. Her face was hard, marked by scars from old battles, but her eyes were not cruel. "Because killing you serves no purpose. You attacked us out of ignorance and arrogance. Now you know better. Maybe the next ship from your collective will think twice before firing on a human vessel." "They will not believe me," said quietly. "When I tell them what happened here, they will think I am lying or mad." "Then we will give you proof," Grant replied. "Evidence that cannot be. Your people need to understand that the galaxy has changed. Humanity is here, and we will not be conquered or destroyed." The medical teams arrived and began treating the wounded. Human doctors worked alongside alien bodies they had never seen before, using scanners and databases to understand their biology. It was difficult work, but they saved many lives that would have been lost. Back on the Defiance, Cole watched the rescue operations through the... He had already sent a message to Earth Command, reporting the engagement. He knew that this moment would change everything. The first battle between humanity and a galactic power had been fought and won, but it was only the beginning. His communications officer interrupted his thoughts. "Captain, Commander is asking to speak with you. He says it is important." Cole nodded, put him through. His face appeared on the screen. He looked broken, but there was something new in his eyes, something that might have been respect. "Captain Cole, I have served the collective for 200 years. I have seen many species rise and fall, but I have never seen anything like your people. Your technology is beyond anything we possess, yet you showed mercy when you had no reason to. I do not understand you." "We are not complicated," Cole said. "We want to live in peace. We want to explore the stars and learn what the universe has to offer, but we will not be victims. We will not bow to empires that see us as nothing more than prey. We earned our place among the stars, Commander. We will not give it up." Was silent for a moment, then he spoke again. "When I return to my people, I will tell them what happened here. I will tell them about your power and your mercy. Perhaps something good can come from this day." "I hope so," Cole said, "for all our sakes." 3 days passed in the cold darkness of space. The human engineers worked around the clock, repairing the Silent Watcher enough to make it again. They patched the hull breaches, restored life support, and fixed the navigation systems. The engines were beyond saving, but they rigged a simple drive that would allow the ship to limp back to territory. During those 3 days, something strange happened between the two crews. At first, they were terrified of their captors. They expected torture, imprisonment, or death. These were the fates they had given to countless species throughout their history. It was what they deserved. But the humans did none of these things. Instead, human doctors treated wounds. Human engineers taught technicians how to repair their own systems. Human soldiers shared food and water with their prisoners. There were no chains, no cells. They were confined to their ship, but they were treated with dignity. Commander spent many hours speaking with Captain Cole. The conversations happened through video links at first, but eventually Cole came aboard the damaged vessel in person. He walked through the corridors without guards, showing no fear even though he was surrounded by beings who had tried to kill him days before. "You confuse me, Captain," admitted during one of their talks. They were sitting in what remained of the Silent Watcher's observation deck. The windows had been patched with emergency sealant, but the view of the stars was still visible. "Your species is young. You should be weak, yet you defeated us easily. You should hate us for attacking you, yet you help us. Nothing about you makes sense." Cole leaned back in his chair. He was tired. 3 days of coordinating repairs and rescue operations had taken their toll, but he found these conversations valuable. Understanding them might be the key to humanity's future in the galaxy. "Let me tell you a story," he said. 200 years ago, we found something on Mars, ruins, ancient technology, records of a species that lived and died long before humans existed. They had discovered the same things you discovered, Commander. They learned to travel between stars. They built wonderful things." "What happened to them?" asked. "You happened. Your ancestors happened. The collective found them when they were young, just as you found us, but they were not prepared. They had no shields, no weapons capable of fighting back. They were conquered in a single generation. The survivors were enslaved. Within a few centuries, they were extinct." Scales flickered with colors Cole had learned to recognize as shame. "The collective has done this many times. It is how we grow, how we maintain power." "We know," Cole said. "The records on Mars told us everything. The names of the species you destroyed, the methods you used, the lies you told yourselves to justify it." He paused and looked directly into his 4 eyes. "We decided that would not be our fate. We spent 2 centuries preparing, building, learning. We studied the technology of the dead and improved upon it. We developed weapons and defenses that your collective has never seen. You could have hidden, said. You could have stayed in your solar system, hoped we never found you. We considered it, but we knew that eventually someone would come. A scout ship, an explorer, a trader. Someone would find us, and then your empires would know. Better to meet you on our terms than wait for you to come to us. Process this information. The humans had done what no other young species had managed. They had prepared for contact with the older powers. They had turned their weakness into strength through patience and discipline. What will you do now? He asked. You have proven your power. Will you conquer us as we would have conquered you? Cole shook his head. No, conquest is your way, not ours. We want something different. We want recognition. We want to be treated as equals. We want peace if it is possible. The collective will not accept that. The High Council believes that order comes through control. They will see you as a threat. Then they will learn, Cole said simply. As you learned. We do not want war, Commander, but we will not back down from one either. On the other side of the silent watcher, Lisa Grant was having her own conversations. She had found an officer named the navigation specialist who had survived the battle, was different from the others. She asked questions, showed curiosity about human culture and history. Your species was conquered 5,000 years ago, Grant said. They were sitting in the ship's medical bay, where was recovering from minor injuries. Do you remember what your people were like before? Scales turned a soft blue. We have stories, songs. Our ancestors were explorers. They traveled the stars seeking knowledge, not power. When the collective came, they offered to share what they had learned. The collective responded by burning our worlds. I am sorry. It was long ago. My people have accepted our place. We serve, and in return we survive. Grant frowned. That is not living, that is just existing. Perhaps, but what choice do we have? The collective is ancient and powerful. No one has ever successfully resisted them. Paused and looked at the human woman. Until now. We are not interested in freeing you, Grant said carefully. That is not our fight, but we are living proof that the collective is not invincible. Maybe that knowledge will spread. Maybe other species will find their courage. Was silent for a long moment. Then she spoke in a whisper, too quiet for any recording device to catch. There are others who remember what freedom was like. They hide within the collective, waiting for something to change. If they learn about what happened here. Let them learn, Grant said. Let everyone learn. The repairs were completed on the morning of the fourth day. The silent watcher was functional again, though it would need months of proper maintenance once it reached home. Captain Cole gathered the senior officers in their damaged bridge for a final meeting. We are releasing you, he announced. Your ship is yours, your crew is yours. You are free to return to your territory. Stood among his officers, his posture showing the confusion they all felt. You are letting us go, just like that. Just like that, but we are sending you with something. Cole produced a small crystal, one of humanity's data storage devices. This contains a message for your High Council. I suggest they listen carefully. Took the crystal with trembling hands. What does it say? You will find out when you play it, but I will tell you the summary. Humanity does not want war with the collective. We have no interest in your territories or your resources. We want to coexist. But if you come to our space with weapons, if you try to conquer us or destroy us, you will fail. And many of your people will die for nothing. He stepped closer too, close enough that the alien could see the steel in his human eyes. The galaxy is changing, Commander. The old ways are ending. You can be part of that change, or you can be destroyed by it. The choice belongs to your people. Gripped the crystal tightly. He had come to this region of space expecting to find primitives. Instead, he had found something that might reshape the balance of power in the entire galaxy. I will deliver your message, he said, but I cannot promise how the Council will respond. That is all we ask, Cole replied. Safe journey, Commander. An hour later, the silent watcher limped away from the Defiance, its damaged engines pushing it slowly toward home. On the bridge, watched the human ship grow smaller on his. Set course for the, he ordered, maximum speed. Worked her console. Commander, at our current speed, it will take 3 weeks to reach space. Then I have 3 weeks to figure out how to explain to the High Council that everything they believe is wrong. He looked at the data crystal in his hand, and why they should listen to a species that should not exist. The journey back to space took 23 days. 23 days of damaged systems and failing equipment. 23 days of a crew haunted by what they had witnessed. 23 days for Commander to prepare himself for the most difficult task of his long life, telling the truth to beings who did not want to hear it. The Silent Watcher arrived at the on a morning. The great city of the Collective stretched across the planet's largest continent, towers of crystal and metal reaching toward the sky. Ships filled the orbital stations, warships and transports and vessels of every size. This was the heart of an empire that had ruled for 10,000 years. Was summoned to the High Council within hours of his arrival. He walked through the ancient halls of power with the data crystal clutched in his hand, feeling the weight of what he carried. Guards watched him pass, their expressions unreadable. Word had already spread that his patrol had encountered something unusual. The council wanted answers. The chamber of the High Council was a vast dome, its ceiling painted with images of conquests throughout history. Hundreds of species were depicted there, all bowing before might. Had looked at those images with pride for 200 years. Now they made him feel sick. High Counselor Vex sat at the center of the ruling circle, his ancient body supported by mechanical devices that kept him alive long past his natural time. His scales had faded to a dull, but his eyes were still sharp. He had ruled the Collective for 3,000 years. In all that time, he had never known defeat. Commander, Vex spoke, his voice amplified by the chamber systems. Your report indicates that your ship was attacked and disabled by a human vessel, a single human vessel. Explain. Stepped forward into the center of the chamber. He felt the eyes of every counselor upon him, judging, doubting, waiting for him to admit that his report was exaggerated or false. High Counselor, my report is accurate in every detail. We encountered a human warship designated USS Defiance in the outer regions of our patrol route. I ordered a scan of the vessel, and when the readings appeared to show a primitive ship, I commanded a warning shot to force their surrender. And, Vex prompted. The shot had no effect. The humans possess energy shielding technology superior to anything in our arsenal. When I ordered a full attack, their point defense systems destroyed our torpedoes, and their shields absorbed our beam weapons without damage. They then returned fire with gravitational weapons that crippled my ship in seconds. The chamber erupted in noise. Counselors shouted questions and accusations. Some demanded to know how this was possible, others accused of incompetence or cowardice. Vex raised a hand and silence fell. You claim the humans possess technology matching or exceeding the elder races, Vex said. That is impossible. The elder races have been dead for 100,000 years. Their secrets died with them. Not all of them, replied. The humans found ruins on one of their system's planets. They spent 2 centuries studying what they found and building upon it. High Counselor, I saw their weapons with my own eyes. I watched them destroy my ship as easily as we would destroy a primitive colony vessel. They are not what our records claim. Vex stared at for a long moment. Then he gestured to an aide. Play the sensor recordings from the Silent Watcher. A holographic display activated in the center of the chamber, showing the battle from the perspective. The counselors watched in silence as the human ship shrugged off their most powerful weapons and responded with devastating force. They saw the Silent Watcher torn apart in seconds, saw the hull crumpling under invisible pressure. When the recording ended, no one spoke. There is more, said. He held up the data crystal. The human captain gave me this, a message for the council. Vex nodded to the technicians. The crystal was inserted into the display system, and Captain Cole's face appeared before the rulers of the collective. To the leaders of the collective, Cole began. His voice was calm, his posture relaxed. He spoke like a man who had nothing to fear. Your vessel attacked mine without provocation. My ship was operating in neutral space, conducting a routine patrol. Under the laws of our people, I would have been justified in destroying your ship and everyone aboard. I chose not to. Cole paused to let that sink in. Humanity has no desire for war with your collective. We do not want your territories. We do not want your resources. We do not want to conquer you or control you. We simply want to exist. We want to explore the galaxy, make contact with other species, and find our place among the stars. His expression hardened slightly. But let me be absolutely clear about something. We are not the primitive species your ancient records describe. We have spent 200 years preparing for this day. We learned from the mistakes of those who came before us, the species your ancestors exterminated when they were too young and weak to fight back. We will not make those mistakes. The image of Cole stepped closer, filling the display. If you come to us in peace, you will find friends. We have much to share, much to learn from each other. Our scientists and yours could work together. Our cultures could enrich one another. There is a better path than endless conquest. But if you come to us with weapons, if you try to enslave us or destroy us, you will find something else entirely. You will find that humanity has learned the lessons of history very well indeed. Your ships will burn. Your warriors will fall, and you will learn that the age of easy conquest is over. Cole took a breath. The choice is yours. I hope you choose wisely. The message ended. The chamber remained silent. High Counselor Vex sat perfectly still, his ancient mind processing what he had seen and heard. For 3,000 years, he had maintained the collective's power through strength and fear. He had crushed rebellions, exterminated threats, and kept the empire stable through absolute control. Now he faced something new, a species that could not be crushed, a power that might match or exceed his own. Clear the chamber, he ordered. Counselors remain, everyone else leave us. When the doors had closed behind the last guard, Vex turned to his fellow rulers. We face a decision that will shape the future of the collective. What are your thoughts? One counselor, a military commander named, spoke first. We must attack. We cannot allow this species to challenge our authority. If word spreads that a young race defeated one of our ships, others will be encouraged to resist. We must crush the humans before they grow stronger. And how do you propose we do that? Another counselor asked. You saw the recording. Their technology is beyond ours. A direct assault would be costly, perhaps catastrophic. We have numbers, insisted. 1,000 ships against one. They cannot defeat an entire fleet. They might not need to, said. Everyone turned to look at him. He had not been dismissed with the others, and he took the opportunity to speak. High Counselor, I spent time with the humans after my defeat. They are not like us. They do not seek conquest. They showed mercy when they had every reason to kill us. But they are also not weak. They will not surrender and they will not run. If we attack them, they will fight and many of our people will die. Vex considered this. What do you recommend, Commander? Took a deep breath. I recommend that we accept their offer. Open diplomatic contact. Learn more about them before making any decisions. The humans are strange, but they are not evil. They may become valuable allies or at least neutral neighbors. War should be our last option, not our first. The debate continued for hours. Some counselors supported aggression. Others urged caution. Vex listened to them all, his expression revealing nothing. Finally, he raised his hand for silence. We will not attack the humans, he announced. Not yet. We will send observers to their space. We will study them. We will learn the true extent of their capabilities, and we will warn the other empires of what we have discovered. Looked outraged, You would let them grow stronger. I would avoid a war we might not win, Vex replied coldly. The galaxy has a new power, Commander. We must be wise enough to recognize that reality. Far across the stars, the USS Defiance continued its patrol. Captain Cole sat in his quarters, reviewing reports from Earth Command. The message he had sent was already spreading through military and political channels. Humanity's first battle with an alien power had been won, but the real challenges lay ahead. His personal console chimed with an incoming message. He opened it and found a simple text from the admiral commanding the frontier fleet. Well done, the first step is always the hardest. Come home soon, there is much to discuss. Cole smiled and closed the file. Through his viewport, the stars stretched endlessly, full of wonder and danger. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe. There would be more battles ahead, more challenges, more moments that would test everything they had built. But they were ready. 2 centuries of preparation had made them ready. The age of humanity among the stars had begun.